Good morning, gents. Now, I'm talking to you from rather blustery UK today, and the subject of my discussion this morning is going to be why your wife is not a bitch. Sounds bizarre, but stick with me on this one. Hi, my name's Joe Horton. I'm your host of the High Impact Dad Show. Let's go. So, one of the things that I find that a lot of guys complain about the most is the fact that their wives nag them. They feel controlled, they feel belittled, they feel that they can't do anything without their wife having an opinion on it. They can't do anything without their wife wanting to take over, wanting to be the person that's kind of managing the situation and micromanaging it, all these kind of stuff. And it causes guys a massive amount of frustration, And one of the things that I want to make clear at the start of this video is there's certain things that I'm going to teach you that you might want to apply once, or you might want to apply for a short period of time before it begins to have an impact on your relationships. This is one that you have to continuously do on a regular basis and make sure that you are maintaining. This is a long-term maintenance thing. This is like kind of putting in the reps on your relationship, if you like, because if you fall off the wagon and don't do this, then over a period of time it can really have a massive effect on how your relationship goes and the complete dynamic relationship that you have with your wife. Now, the majority of time when guys are going through this particular thing with their wives or their partners, it is because their wives cannot trust them to steer the ship. And I'm going to elaborate on this a little bit so that you can get your head around the concept that I'm going to teach you. Using the captain and first officer analogy from steering a ship, what happens is that the captain is generally steering the ship. He's making sure that it stays out of the way of danger and it steers past icebergs and all that kind of good stuff. Now, the first officer, if something happens to the captain, they can step in for a short period in order to steer the ship, make sure that it navigates danger and get everyone on the ship safely to a position where they're no longer in danger. Okay, now that's not a problem if that happens every once in a while where the first officer has to take over. But using the marriage analogy, the first officer being your wife, you being the captain of the ship, if you are constantly failing to steer the ship out of danger and you're taking your eye off the wheel while you're meant to be steering the ship, then eventually what happens is your wife says, well, I can't trust this guy. He can't keep me and my children safe. He can't do what he said he's going to do. He's not keeping the promises that he made to me when we exchanged marriage vows. So fuck it, I'm going to take over and I'm going to steer this ship and he can do what he wants to do. I'm finished with him. And this is where the frustration from your wife comes in. You may well think that your wife wakes up every morning and that she just wants to be a bitch and she wants to treat you like a child. That's not true. Women don't wake up every morning and think, I want to give my husband a hard time. They do wake up each morning thinking, I want to give my husband a hard time if their husband is not steering the ship, he's not leading the family, he's not doing the things he's promised to himself he's going to do, and also the things he's promised to his wife that he's going to do. And this is where this kind of frustration, anger, resentment, all these kind of emotions from your wife begin to kick in, because from her point of view, she's looking at you thinking, hang on a minute, I want a husband, a lover, and someone that is going to be my soulmate, not someone that is another child that I've got to look after in this family dynamic. Okay, so this boils down to your wife wanting a competent husband. They want someone they can rely upon, not someone that they're going to have to step in and actually take over because you're doing such a shit job at it. Okay, so there's a number of things that you can do in order to start to get to a position where your wife begins to trust you and begins to stop kind of belittling you and stepping into what you're doing and micromanaging you. The first thing, more than anything else, is to keep your promises. Keep the promises you make to yourself over a number of different things in your life. It could be fitness, it could be your hobbies, it could be a number of different things. Keep the promises to yourself. The second thing is keep the promises you make to her and other people, because that gives you credibility, that gives you reliability, that gives you integrity. which are important things to exhibit in a relationship, okay, and important qualities to have overall as well. Number 3 is do what you said you would do. If you say you're going to do something, do it. If you say you're going to transfer your wife some money for something, you do it. If you say you're going to buy the kids new school shoes, you do it. If you say you're going to take them to a club, you do it. If you say you're going to get up at a certain time to do something, you do it, okay? But you don't keep making excuses as to why you haven't done it. You just do it, okay? And the 4th thing is to lead your family and protect your family. Steer the ship of your family. Take charge at the helm. If you need to have a weekly meeting to work out what the plan is for the week in terms of where kids are going to be dropped off, what clubs kids are going to, all this kind of stuff, all the kind of dynamics of running a family unit, okay, then you can do that. But the key thing here is point 4, lead your family and protect them from danger, okay? Because if your wife can't trust you, she cannot trust you to protect the family, okay? And that's, again, one of these key core principles that this all boils down to, all right? Moving on from this, you're going to need to kind of re-establish some boundaries because some of those boundaries may have been pushed. There may have been a bit of narkiness and toxicity where your wife may be talking down to you in front of the kids and stuff. And I'm going to deal with that in Friday's video, okay, how to set boundaries, okay? But on this topic, more than anything else, actions speak louder than words. So you need to run through those 4 steps in order to begin taking charge of your ship, steering the ship through dangerous times, and really build up that integrity, reliability, and trust in your relationship. Now, if you're interested in finding out about how you can develop all areas of your life, the best way of doing that is by downloading a copy of my free ebook, The VAM Blueprint. You can get that book, the link's coming up down here. It's guildofdads.com/VAM, and that will give you a blueprint that you can begin to work to craft a vision for your life and begin to work on these different areas like relationships, mental health, physical health, and your contribution to the world, okay? You can also check out the weekly podcast, and all these videos are available online. If any of what I've said today resonates with you, by all means drop a comment below. Let me know what your experience of this is. Does your wife give you a hard time? What has been your experiences? Maybe you have overcome this. How have you found the way that you can overcome it? Take care, guys.